When people find out that I specialize in Genesis, there's a very common question that's asked. Does the Bible contradict or conflict with science? And of course, it's a question that's on lots of people's minds because we hear the things that scientists are learning and studying and promoting, and it doesn't seem to fit very well with the Bible. And so it's a question on people's minds. Let's get a little perspective on it. First of all, to the extent that science accurately describes our world, it can't possibly conflict with the Bible, which is God's Word. God's world and God's Word cannot be in conflict with one another. And so in that sense, we have to see that what we're shooting for is something that will see those two together. When we ask if science converges with the Bible or the Bible converges with science, there are many ways in which we can identify that it indeed does, because these are both areas of God's truth. But usually when people are asking these questions, they've got some more specific things in mind. Does science make certain claims that cannot be held at the same time as claims that the Bible makes? After all, if we take the Bible seriously, we see ourselves in a position in which we want to defend the Bible and embrace what it has to say. And if we feel like some other field, science or something else, is telling us something different, then we make a decision to stand by the Bible. And so we want to know, is there conflict in the claims that are being made? Now, potentially there could be. If science were claiming there was no God, well, we would say, I'm sorry, the Bible has a different claim. But of course, science doesn't claim that. There are some scientists that believe there is no God, but that's not science. That's the scientists and decisions that some of them make. So there are points where we'd have to say, yeah, we're not there. We're not together on that point. But more often, when we're dealing with conclusions that science draws and the theories that they put together, they come out with some things that we say, I'm not sure how that fits with the Bible. What we need to do when we're thinking about this area is that we need to make sure that we understand the claims of science clearly, and that we need to understand the claims of the Bible clearly. Both science and the Bible require interpretation. And those interpretations can be wrong. They can be misguided. And so we have to evaluate those claims, evaluate the strength of those claims, and also make sure that they are legitimate claims to make. Now, I'm not a science person, so I can't talk much about that side of it. But on the Bible side, my experience has been that many people believe the Bible is making claims which it may not be making. They've understood those claims in the context of traditional ways of thinking about the text. But those claims are understood through a process of interpretation. And in many cases, there are other very legitimate ways to interpret the text and translate it, to interpret the text so that maybe those claims would not be seen as being in conflict. We have to always be willing to go back to the text and try again to read it more carefully. There's always new information about Hebrew words, new information about the ancient world and how that works. And we need to be able to bring that information to the Bible to make sure we're understanding it properly. I would never say that science or something scientists discovered would make me deny what I believe the Bible claims. But there are times when scientific discoveries might prompt me to go back to the text and ask, am I reading the text correctly? And I should always be willing to reconsider my interpretations if I find evidence that suggests that there are other, at least possible, maybe preferable ways to read the text. This is what we need to be engaged in when we're examining the relationship between the claims of science and the claims of the Bible.